Dear friends, and finally we are at episode 8, our last episode, the grand finale of a series of 8 called Obesity Care with Dr. Kanica Yashi. We have come very far and delved deep into many factors pertaining to obesity care, namely obesity as a major public health crisis, obesity care in children, college students and youth, obesity care in mothers and breastfeeding, impact of obesity on mental and physical health, role of physical activity in obesity care, and medical management of obesity. Dr. Kanica Yashi have wonderfully shed light on these topics to me and Meenal, and gave away many takeaway messages to our MANATVINTL international audience. To counteract obesity, take utmost care of a physical system called the human body, listed those valuable tips to lose weight with ease and peace. And now it's time to talk about those proverbial myths pertaining to obesity, the real truth about these myths in the air, and cast the myths away with the right knowledge about obesity care. So our today's topic is debunking obesity myths. Yet again, let's talk to our subject matter expert, Dr. Kanica Yashi. And by now, you're very much familiar with Dr. Yashi, who has given her expert guidance about obesity. But let me take the privilege to introduce her again. Dr. Kanica Yashi is trained in internal medicine, obesity medicine, and is American board certified in both specialties. She currently practices at Cooperstown, New York, and is a hospitalist and as well practices obesity medicine. She's a skilled educator and researcher involved with multiple studies as well, and holds important leadership positions with the Obesity Medicine Association and the New York chapter of the American College of Physicians. She also serves as an associate editor for the journal Obesity Pillars. Dr. Yashi is passionate about her practice of obesity medicine and her hobby of cooking, and is in process of combining the two by making a page for wholesome Asian meals, especially keeping in mind the nutrients and calories. So welcome, Dr. Yashi, to our show. Welcome, Dr. Yashi. How are you doing today?
Hi, Sharat. Thanks for having me today. I'm doing really well, and I'm very excited to be here on our final episode of the series.
I'm equally excited today. This is our series of 8 called Obesity Care with Dr. Kanica Yashi, and we are in episode 8. And we'll figure out about debunking these myths about diets and so many other things, the burning questions myself and our MANATVINTL international audience have to bust off. So let me kick off with my first myth. So I've heard that we need to starve and skip meals to lose weight. Is that true, Dr. Yashi?
No, Sharath, that's absolutely not true. It's never a great idea to skip meals. I have said that before in our previous episodes.
Right.
The big thing is to eat the right kind of food and the right quantity of food. So the quality and quantity is the important thing. You have to hit the right number of calories you eat in a day. Skipping meals is actually a very bad idea, because you end up being so hungry at the end of the day or at the end of that fast that you're trying to do, that you really eat a lot of junk food, and it's never good. It never works out. So that is a total no-no.
Dismissing that myth for us, but now I understand how much of importance it is to not to skip meal and maintain that perfect balance of meal to meal timing. So
it doesn't work like that. I used to do that when I was in college, when you don't have the understanding. The whole week you are trying to eat these tiny portions of food, or maybe just not eat at all, and then you are in the weekend where you'll binge eat so much and so much unhealthy that you have really outweighed everything that you have tried to skip during your weekdays. So it's never a great idea. It never works for long term. It also doesn't, rather deprive you of the micronutrients that you need for a healthier functionality of the body. So that's my take on that we should be eating every day the right kind of food.
I hope all of us, maintain that diet balance. And thanks for answering beautifully. Let's go to our next myth. One of my friend asked this question: are all calories created equally?
No, they're not. Scientifically, for example, 1 gram of carbohydrates is equal to 4 calories. 1 gram of protein is also 4 calories, but 1 gram of fats is equal to 9 calories. So there you go. It's not equal. So for simplicity of our viewers, what that means is that, do you think, Sharad, you tell me, do you think half a cup of apple, calorie wise, is it equal to half a cup of peanut butter? Do you think so?
Logically, I don't think. I think
no,
there's a world of difference.
Half a cup of peanut butter is a lot more calories than half a cup of apple, which is obviously the healthier choice and a more fuller choice. So here it is. All calories are not created equal.
Yeah, I mean, when you said that, I go back to your previous answer when you said you got to have a fine balance of quantity and quality. So definitely you answered my question wonderfully. And let's move on to the next myth, which says, and definitely a big question for all of us, most of us, is eating at night make you gain weight?
This is a very interesting question. I hear this a lot. And I want to say that the answer to this is also no. Eating at night does not make you gain weight. It is how you have ate in a 24-hour period. So it's not just at night, you really have to eat the right number of calories to either lose weight or to maintain weight. It's not just about eating at night. So eating at night doesn't help you, it doesn't make you increase more weight. But I do want to say that one shouldn't be going to bed right after eating. It's nice to take a little bit of stroll or a little walk after you've had your dinner, because there is some data which suggests that once you've taken that little walk, it helps lower your blood sugars right after the increase that occurs from having the dinner.
Thank you. You were spot on about, eating at night. You said a quick no to that. How do people with diabetes, figure out that particular thing? As we have discussed in our previous episodes, that diabetes and obesity, there is a congruence there. So what is your suggestion for those who are diabetic?
Right. So the diabetics should be following a diabetic diet. A diabetic diet is something that is mindful of the number of carbohydrates or sugars that a person is eating in a 24-hour period or in their meals. But whether they're eating those meals mostly in the day or mostly at night, or whatever time, it's not going to help them put on more weight or get more heavier. That's not true. It is really about eating the diabetic diet however they want to span it out in a 24-hour period. So it's not about the time of the day.
Thank you, Dr. Yashi, for busting that myth. Being in media, I tend to eat at night and things, going berserk with schedules, and I had a misconception that if I eat at night and without actually tracking my calories and things, I'll gain weight. And I had this conjecture, but your answer was spot on. Thank you again. So we'll.
Sharad, I want to say to that. So again, it's not about the time of the day. It's about what you're eating. Now, say that if you are eating like a big cheeseburger or a whole large pizza, that's probably not going to help you out. But if even at 11 p.m. you are having like a little bit of salad or a grilled piece of chicken or something that's wholesome and healthy in the right quantity, that's just fine.
Thank you. Thank you. So, pun intended, our previous question was about eating at night and gaining weight. And sounding poetic here, can we skip breakfast? And, does that make you lose weight?
And my answer is going to remain same, that it does not. It does not help you lose weight. In fact, I feel that breakfast is one of the very important meals of the day. Most people work during the day. They're just starting off their day. You need to fuel your body with the right kind of calories. So to me and my patient panel that I have treated for weight, I always suggest them having a good breakfast.
Thank you. Thank you. So does that mean it is a mandate to actually have your breakfast at any cost, to actually keep your body in optimum conditions?
It's not a mandate, Sharad, but such is the mechanism and mechanics of the body that you're sleeping at night. You have invariably fasted for 8 to 10 hours. You're waking up, you're starting a new day. Your body is asking for fuel. So you give it, the right kind of fuel. So again, it's not a mandate, but I think it's good to have a good breakfast. It's always a good thing. It actually keeps you fuller for a long time. If anything, you can go lighter on your lunch, but have a good breakfast.
Thank you, because I'm equally guilty of skipping a lot of breakfasts. Again, pushing on so many different circumstances, or quickly stepping out of home and things, or having a quick bite and leave and not really eat which keeps me starved and thinking that I can have a very heavy lunch and things. But I think now I know the answer. And now our MANATV international audience as well are well educated now. We are at episode 8. So definitely watch out, friends. So we'll go to our next myth, saying, is eating fats good? And tell us, is there anything like good fat or bad fat?
Yeah, eating fats in small amounts is very important. So we should not be eliminating fats completely for our diet. Fats are important for cellular functions of the body. There is enough data to suggest that they are important for brain functions, memory, and daily activity. Fats are important for absorption of micronutrients like vitamin A, D, E, K. So it's important for a lot of things. But we should be eating the right kinds of fat. So look at the labels of what kind of fat that is. So there are two kinds of fat that you just said: the good fat and the bad fat that people call. The good fats are the unsaturated fatty acids, and the bad fat is the saturated fatty acids. So the saturated fatty acids are like the butter, the coconut oil, the pizza fat, the lots of cheese fat. That's something we should be keeping watch out on. That is the saturated fatty acid. That is the bad cholesterol we should be avoiding. The good fats are the unsaturated fatty acids, which also can be divided into two subcategories: the monounsaturated and the polyunsaturated. Monounsaturated, like avocados, nuts, dry fruits, those are monounsaturated. We need some of that every day. Go for it. Polyunsaturated are like the omega-3 fatty acids we have in our fish oil tablets, those other vegetable oils like the olive oil, the canola oil, and those kind of things. So we do need to consume small amounts of fats every day. So it's very important.
On that note, just wanted to ask this one favorite question of mine. There is this fad about, you said that, you have to keep a watch on coconut oil as well, because that goes toward the category of, per se, bad fat or towards cholesterol generating fat. But there is a fad about coconut oil or coconut per se being very good for health. How do you justify that for our audience?
I don't agree with that 100%, because we know that coconut oil has mostly saturated fatty acids, which is not the best kind of fats for consumption. So I think that would be my answer. I know that customary in a lot of Indian households, we use coconut oil. And I mean, if you're using like a teaspoon or tablespoon, that's okay. But we shouldn't be using large quantities of such oil for cooking and eating purposes, I feel.
Thank you. Especially in a place like Kerala, where their staple food is, pretty much invariably coconut oil. I had this question in mind as well. So definitely is
really good, Sharat. Coconut per se is really good. So the coconut products, coconut chutney and the raw coconut that we're eating, all that's good. But the way the oil is produced, the way the chemical composition is changed in a way is not suitable to the body, to its best.
Thank you. That was very precise. And we'll move on to our next myth. It says definitely a burning question, favorite of everybody, all MANATV international audience. All of us are dying to know this answer. Is it true or false that you gotta cut out carbs to lose weight?
That's totally not true. We shouldn't be cutting out carbs. These macronutrients, that is the carbs, the proteins, or fats that are there because our body needs it. We can't just continue to live by eliminating one thing completely out of our body. That's not natural. So we need to be eating carbs. However, just like I said for the fats, for carbs as well, we have complex carbs and the simple carbs. So simple carbs are things like chips, or like we eat the puris and the bhaturas, those pizzas. Those are quick carbs, simple carbs. And then the complex carbs are
big time,
like whole grain. Yeah, like the whole grain rotis, whole grain chapatis, brown rice, oats, and the fibrous carbs, even like the fruits and vegetables come in the complex carbs. So the simple carbs is not the best, because what it does is it really raises your sugar very quickly and it brings it down very quickly. So you get that sugar rush, but then you feel hungry very quickly. However, the complex carb, they take longer time to digest. So they raise your sugar levels slowly. That peak is maintained for a longer time and it comes down slowly as well. So they stay in your stomach, keeps you fuller for a longer time. So that is why complex carbs are better. However, to answer the question, carbs are important in general. Please read your ingredient list as to what kind of carbs are there in that item. Complex or simple or more of complex. Go for things that have more complex carbs.
I mean, that was very important for me and for all of us, because so much of conjecture about carbs, looking out for labels when you're buying food and things, and becoming apprehensive of whether I can have carbs or not. Is it really good for me and things? And going for different kind of diets and being in dark, you've cleared a lot of air about carbs, which kind of carbs. As you said, there are complex carbs, and there are something which you digest really quick and which are not really good for your health. A bit more perspective about that to actually understand, to imbibe the knowledge of carbohydrates consumption, so that we can become free in head to actually eat the things right, especially carbs, and feel peaceful. Some more perspective, please.
Right. So on that note, I just want to say that please know that your diet in general on a 24-hour period should be made of 50 to 60% carbohydrate, 20% proteins, and about 30% fats. Make sure the carbs that you're getting is mostly complex carbs as opposed to simple carbs. Make sure the fats that you're getting are mostly unsaturated fats as opposed to saturated fats. And then proteins, we know that what are the proteins. However, eggs are good, paneer is great, cheese is also good, low-fat cheese is good. Lean proteins like chicken, turkey are preferred. Even fish is preferred over the red meats like lamb and beef and pork and so forth.
Thank you, Dr. Yashi. As in vogue, the subject of carbs is a lot of guesswork, a lot of conjectures, a lot of apprehensions, as I said, about carbs, and literally they're all obsessed with that subject, and with the yes and no's of shall we go for it or not. So thank you for that clarification as well. And another in vogue thing I've been noticing of late in supermarkets and everywhere, in pharmacies, with this label everywhere saying that this particular food is gluten-free. So, and just wanted to know for our MANATV International audience, is eating gluten-free rid you of those extra weights you have?
No, and this is also a myth. I have been seeing that people are trying to indulge in a lot of gluten-free diet. People in my family are eating a lot of gluten-free.
Right.
Why? But really, gluten-free is meant for people who have a disease that is called as a celiac disease. Now, in this disease, celiac disease is an autoimmune disease where the body cells attack the protein gluten that is present in certain wheat and barley and rye, not rice, rye, and it attacks, and it can cause GI symptoms like diarrhea and things like that. So it's to be avoided in people who have celiac disease, but in normal people who have no such issues, eating gluten-free does not help them lose weight at all. In fact, they're just depriving themselves unnecessarily of eating rotis and cakes and so many other nice things,
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. This has been, I think what you're saying is you have to do your research right, and you cannot attribute it to, losing weight, or if it is in vogue in the market and things, but you got to get your facts right. What exactly are the rudiments of a particular subject? Why should you eat? Why should you not eat? And especially gluten, you can absolutely eat rotis and things, whatever are, but I guess in moderation.